Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the National Racing Network coverage of the Thursday Top Split Strength of Field race here at Virtual Legacy Phoenix Raceway. You've seen all of the great action of the Virtual Copper World Classic here this week. First with the Silver Crowns, then the Sprint Cars last night. Now it's the PM18's turn for 59 laps around Legacy Phoenix International Raceway here tonight. If you think that the graphics look weird, if you think the voices sound weird, you're not wrong. It's a new crew here tonight, a substitute one at that. Hello, everybody. My name is Tommy Cook. I've got my producer, my main man here with me, Mr. Matt Williamson, is on standby. Hello, Matt. We're on somebody else's channel here tonight. It's a bit weird, but we're ready for some great racing action here at Phoenix.
Yeah, it certainly feels a little bit different. Feel a little bit more nervous than I have for our broadcast on our channel, but it's good to be here, bringing you some action that we're not used to, but the viewers here on NRN are certainly used to, and we are looking forward to bringing you some great action and being on the call here tonight.
Yes, thanks to Chris for reaching out and asking us to sub in here tonight while he's off at Daytona. We're happy to cover, especially with racing like this. The 7 o'clock Top Split race was an absolute banger. We're looking for more of the same here just a couple hours later with a lot of the same cast and crew. But a big field here for the Top Split. 23 drivers getting ready to take to Phoenix. We're going to have a short pace lap here with a full field. So why don't we give the folks the track conditions and a bit of lay of the land here. The lay of the land that, in fact, we are still learning as this night rolls along.
Yeah, certainly. Well, we'll look at track conditions first of all. We're watching Andrew Berry go around in qualifying as we speak, but the track temperature very low, 72 degrees on the track temperature, so should help these drivers be able to keep a hold of these cars, keep from getting loose a little bit better, take a little bit of time for the tires to come in, of course, so that's going to have to be something to watch. I know that there were quite a few incidents in the 7 o'clock strength of field race, so maybe looking at more of the same. It is a 25x incident limit. If that happens, you're probably out of the race. And these are open setups, so they get to set their own fuel and their own setups, and no pit stops will be needed here.
Alrighty, it's time for a great race here tonight, and we're glad you're along for the ride here on NRN. Excited to be here. And getting ready for 59 laps here tonight. The USF Indy Pro 2000 here at Legacy Phoenix. Brian Molitor with the pole at 24.815. Everett Paddock on the outside in the front row. Brian Labarge and Andrew Berry will start on row number 2. It'll be Carter Lundy rolling off in 5th with Michael Haller to his outside. Sam Carasala, last week's Thursday Top Split winner at Lime Rock Park. He will start in 7th here on the oval. Stephen Thompson to his outside in 8th. Jason Miller and Jason Owens. Owens won the 8 o'clock Top Split just a couple hours ago. He rounds out your top 10 starters. Alexander Wesley Hazelworth in 11th. Simon Fell in 12th. Nieje Camargo in 13th. Rod Eskew 14th. Carl Lemkool and Victor Valley on row number 8. It's Theodore Burns and Joseph Heath on row number 9. Jackson Sims and David Zippy. Round out your top 20 starters. Nathan Laverdure in 21st, Frank Nguyen in 22nd, and our buddy James Watson rocking the number 1 on the car here. The top-rated driver in terms of iRating in this field, all the way back at the tail end of the starting lineup here. Work to do for the Team Watson Racing proprietor. Over on our channel on Turn 200, last night we got to talk to James, but that was after a P2 finish at Sonoma. A bit of a different game here tonight, but one that Watson plays pretty well. Was looking forward to having him up here in the booth, but then he told me that he races the ovals and commentates on the road courses. So 3 ovals on the schedule this season. I'm sure James looks forward to racing in every single one of them. We got V2 in the chat already. If you're hanging out with us here tonight, let us know. Again, my name is Tommy. My partner Matt Williamson is here as well, and we're happy to be here on the National Racing Network for the first time. I was told there might be some drinking games among the NRN boys, Chris and Bizzle, if they happen to be watching as well. So we'll see. We'll see who is getting drunk after 59 laps here at Phoenix. My guess is probably everybody. Pace car is off. We're about to get underway. The Copper World Classic leg for the Indy PM18. We're underway. Shooting the gap already, 3 wide, headed into turn number 1, just outside of the top 10. Molitor with the early lead. The Paddock underneath to challenge for the top spot here, headed into 3. Shuffling just outside of the top 5. Stephen C. Thompson dropping back a bit out of the top 10 now. He finds himself on the outside of 3 wide here. His lap number 1 is in the books. Got to reacclimate ourselves here to the old Phoenix and change the turn names and the start-finish line locations. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
Certainly. No, Paddock had a good look for about a lap underneath the Molitor, but it was not able to make it stick. Slots back in line. Look like right behind them, Lundy and Labarge almost got together.
Wheel to wheel. Love the PM18. It is full out, all out here early in the going. Speeds upwards of 150 miles an hour further back in the line. The Molitor leading, Paddock, Lundy, Labarge, and Haller, the top 5.
Lundy and Labarge getting awfully close together, trying to squeeze everything they can out of this thing. Have nearly come together multiple times now.
Oh, push it up the track. Wow. Locking wheels there. Here comes a big run from Paddock up front. Molitor will shut the door. And Labarge going to hang on to 3rd for now. Here's the move for the top spot. Paddock going to clear.
Little bit of a slider there from Paddock. Molitor looking for the crossover. Has a pretty good run here.
Labarge back in 3rd. Purple lap of the session. 24.878. Pass for the lead. Battling for 5th as well. Molitor back ahead. Jason Miller back in 8th, just ran the purple lap. So speed's picking up through the top 10 here. Look at these guys.
Here comes Lundy. A great lap from Lundy here. He takes 3rd. Looking for 2nd now under Paddock.
Oh, there was a bit of contact there. It sure looked like it anyway. Even with the dogleg to operate with in the new Phoenix, things get bottled up here pretty quick. Take all that extra real estate out of the equation, and you've got this.
Well, it's just crazy the runs that they're producing. You know, things kind of get single file for a lap or two, and then all of a sudden they create these big runs, and they have to try and take them. And it just bottles everybody up, like you said.
Trying to sneak back to the outside here.
What's really cool is we're seeing all sorts of lanes being used with this car here. Everybody's able to fan out. 3 wide, different lanes being used from the top to the bottom.
Paddock had a big run. It got cut off. Michael Haller running in 7th, I think got up into the wall and has picked up a meatball flag. And he's stuck in the middle of 3 wide. Needs to get down to pit lane here this time around.
We're going to go on board with Jason Owens, currently in 6th place right now. Get a good look at what kind of chaos happens in front of him here. See a dive underneath there from Theodore Burns. Burns now up to the 6th spot. Burns up 11 positions already early on in this race.
Yeah, Burns by far the biggest mover of the event thus far. Owens the 8 o'clock winner. Molitor and Paddock going at it here. Too wide, too deep for the top 4 positions. Berry and Lundy side by side as well. And now side by side for 5th and 6th, just for good measure. Jackson Sims in 9th,
Whoa.
purple lap. And a bit rolling out there. Labarge going backwards.
Yeah. Oh, and look,
Oh,
contact
boy.
between the 2 leaders.
That's not good. More drivers into the wall, further back in the top 10 here.
Looks like cars starting to get a little tight for those folks trying to run the bottom and stay even with the folks on the outside. You've seen them drift up the racetrack a little bit.
Things are getting a bit dicey towards the front of the field. Paddock having to defend 2 lanes as Lundy and Molitor side by side behind.
Burns continues to move forward here. It's on the outside in that white number 7 right now.
3 wide for the lead. Things go bottoms up at the front of the field. We're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah, no time to react and nowhere to go, especially here at the legacy version of Phoenix.
Oh, there they go!
Oh!
They touched Tubbs! How are they still going? Molitor on the top side, back to the point.
Lundy and Paddock got together, nearly pushed Molitor up into the wall.
More contact in the top 10. We're still 3 wide. Oh, and we're loose. One more up into the wall. How are these guys not crashing? This is incredible. I think Hazelworth has got on the wrong end of that exchange. Michael Haller is back out on the track 6 laps down after his required repairs have been completed. Coming to put lap number 20 on the board this time, and things not settling down as you would expect them not to.
Whoa!
More contact there.
We just keep continuing to see drivers trying to run the very bottom of the racetrack wash up little
Like that.
by little.
Or about out of juice left to squeeze out of this one.
Folks on the top side, they want to try to stay down as far as possible to squeeze those folks on the bottom out. But if you don't give them some room, it could be chaos.
Burns and Lundy back to side by side for 3rd. Paddock trying to pull a bead back up on Molitor. I mean, where do you look? There's something going on everywhere.
I know, I've had to keep my eyes on these top 7 or 8 the whole time. There's just been too much. We don't want to miss anything up here at the front.
Well, 21 of the 23 drivers are in touch with the lead pack here. David Zippy is pulled out. And honestly, it might be the right call. When things go south rather quickly, he'll have a chance to at least stop and collect himself.
It really is starting to look like a stock car race at Atlanta right here.
Yes.
The new version of Atlanta, by the way. Narrow track, and nowhere to go with the runs that you get, pretty much. Everybody's stacked up together.
At least those cars have bumpers.
Burns underneath Jackson Sims. Haven't really mentioned Sims' name at all yet. He's up 15 positions, even more than Burns. Two of them started deep in the field and have made their way up to the top 5.
Bit of check it up there from Burns on back.
In this race, only 59 laps here around Phoenix. If we don't have a caution that comes out, this could be over in a big hurry. So drivers maybe starting to feel the pressure now, getting close to that halfway mark.
26 laps in 10.5 minutes. It's definitely crunch time, and it was almost crunch time there for Sam Carasala. He got batted around a bit. He started to go backwards.
Huge run for Jason Miller on the bottom there. Washes up the track a bit. Looked like somebody almost got into the wall. It may have been Lundy.
Big run here for Theodore Burns as well. Burns trying to get clear. Not going to be able to. Now he will. Now here's a big run for Paddock for the top spot. These two battling. Look at Burns and Sims closing right up. Paddock clear, but that was a quick crossover. Oh!
Whoa!
Definitely some wall contact there for Sims.
It looked like contact with Burns as well.
Yes, indeed.
This really is like watching a dogfight. They go at it for 3 laps side by side for 4 rows deep. Everybody kind of then gets single file for a couple laps, gets their cars wound up, ready to take that run again, and then they go at it.
It's like watching a ticking time bomb. Oh, there we go! That was Sims that made the initial contact, I believe.
Oh,
Lavender, James Watson is in it, Jason Owens as well. Hazelworth.
Yeah, a couple cars to the infield grass, and another one smacked the wall pretty good there.
Well, Sims made the contact, and he alt F forward real fast out of this one. So we'll have to take a look at the replay on that one.
There's a look at Hazelwood there. Rear of the car just absolutely gone. Try to find what happens here. I have to back it up. Well, this is Paddock up here on the top side. That's a 15 to Jackson Sims underneath. And it looks like Sims washes up the racetrack a bit, but it's actually net code contact between the two of them. And then that's the number 6, I believe, of Jason Owens that got involved as well. It is.
Yeah, his tire is all jacked up. I'm sure his race is more than likely over.
Some other drivers that went around trying to get slowed down for the carnage. It's the 19 of Joseph Heath. Not sure who the other car is. Don't have a number there, but that's we kept talking about it. You don't want it to happen at the front of the field, and that was the front of the field.
It certainly was.
Well, we just got past that halfway mark, Tommy, and things got wild and crazy from the beginning, but a little too wild as we crossed the threshold there.
It'll be interesting to see how this dictates the rest of the race. Are we going to get right back to that sort of intensity? Are we going to chill out for a bit? Going to be interesting. I mean, it's going to have to get that intense again at some point. In theory.
I mean, I think you and I both know the answer to that. But from the drop of the green flag, everybody was going. I mean, there were a few drivers just kind of hanging out a little bit. You knew that it was going to be, pretty chaotic. But, I mean, we're only at 25 to go right now. These laps go very quickly. If you want any chance at bettering your position, you have to go now and hope that maybe some of the other drivers are sleeping. You could pick off a couple pretty easily if you're gung-ho here.
Well, don't forget, the regular team will be back here next Monday night for the Silver Crown Cup and the Sprint Car Cup as well. Tuesday night next week, the USFPRO 2000s will roll into Legacy Silverstone. So back to road course racing action next Thursday night for the top split here on NRN. Going to be a wild run to the checkers here. Is that our only caution of the race? Only time is going to tell. Back underway. Molitor Burns. Lemcool is up here for the first time tonight. Frank Nguyen and now Brian Labarge passed by Jason Miller. They are side by side.
And Labarge had been up here in the top 5 at the beginning of the race. Decided to step out of it, or maybe just didn't want to push it too terribly hard there in the beginning. But now back into a top 5 position right now, coming towards the end of the race here. Things are pretty spread out right now, but will come together.
Top 3 pretty close together here. Molitor, Burns, and Lemkel. When I say pretty close, I mean real close.
Yeah, they're close. One of them can take a dive at any time if they really wanted to.
We'll see if Carl is thinking that here. Not this time. Frank Nguyen pulling up on the scene pretty quick.
Nguyen starting to get to this group. Pretty good little gap between him and Labarge, though. Labarge and Miller trying to make their way up to this group. And then back here, James Watson looking for a pass on Carvasala, and does it down there on the inside.
Watson 23rd to 7th right now. Pretty good run. And we're back under caution.
Looks like Stephen Thompson pretty slow here. Oh,
Yeah.
and Lundy is upside down. That was Carter Lundy on your screen right there. David Zippy looks to be pretty slow as well.
Yeah, Lundy moving up off the bottom of the track. Hits the car that's to his outside. I think Victor Valley gets a piece of this one as well. But we're under caution here for the second time.
This is Lundy in the 3 underneath. Tommy kind of walked us through it. He's going to come up the racetrack. We've seen that a lot here tonight already. And just kind of overcorrects to the right, trying to keep from spinning down to the left, straight up into the car above. We'll try to get a better look to see who that is, but boy, Lundy goes for a pretty good ride on the lid here.
I've taken a couple rides like that. Have you? You ever been upside down before?
Unfortunately, yes, I have. We race Lotus 79s. It's going to happen. Still never got a great look at who that was that Lundy got up into. A little bit of inexperience with the drivers and their paint schemes here, unfortunately.
It might have been, I think it was Laverdure.
But nonetheless, that's pretty quick. Second caution to come out there.
And you know what we see out of single file restarts on our Wednesday night program, an open wheel racing, things can get pretty spread out like they did under that restart. So maybe if you're a driver like James Watson in 7th, Sam Carasala in 8th, you might be hitting the panic button a bit here. A little bit further back in line here on a single file restart with the laps ticking away under caution. What do you think?
Well, that's exactly the point that I was going to make. We saw in that restart, things got very spread out. I mean, it took a long time for Frank Nguyen, who's in 4th place, just to get even close to the tail of the top 3. So if it takes that long for somebody in 4th to get there, it was taking a lot longer for folks in 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, where you would normally think you have a good shot. Looked like they were going to be out of it if we were going to end the race there pretty quick. Like, we'll only have, I think, 14, maybe 13 laps to go here. You're going to really need a good restart, and try not to battle anybody too hard here at the beginning of this run. You want to give yourself a shot there towards the end.
But then on the other hand, with the laps ticking away, the guys 2nd to 3rd or 4th that were in touch with the leader there, they want a shot at this. They're going to have to make a move eventually, and that might open things up for drivers further back into line, depending on how quick they make that move. So we'll see how Burns, Lemkel, and Nguyen, and maybe Labarge as well, are going to dictate how this pack forms up here. With a restart in the closing laps, 45 laps complete. When we cross the line, 46 will be up on the board. Brian Molitor, green flag. Quick move right out of the gate for James Watson. He is underneath Jason Miller.
Watson wasting no time, like you said. He was hoping to clear Miller very fast there, but it's not going to happen. Him and Miller will be side by side.
And I think he let Miller go. He's going to fall back into line and maybe try and keep the draft train rolling. Either that or Miller got a huge run on the outside. Either way, single file through the top 10. Oh, except for 3 wide for the 10th position all of a sudden.
Whoa, and there's some contact back there as well. That was Camargo that's going to go backwards a position or two here off of that.
Yeah, that got awfully hairy there real fast. Molitor with a car length over Burns. Jason Miller making more progress. He's pulled up to the back of the barge here. And Frank Nguyen now has caught the top 3.
Yeah, those top 6 or 7 starting to come together.
It's shaping up.
They really can't have a caution come out here towards the end of the race. They're hoping it stays green to give themselves a shot.
10 to go.
And some blinking from Lemkool here.
Oh! A right rear in contact! Miller and the barge get together! I think it was Miller making the move on the bottom. Either way, whoever was on the bottom, they moved way up the track, fed the right rear, sprint car style, and it ends in disaster.
Here is a look at that replay. And it's Miller on the bottom. LaBarge on the top in the 12. Like you said, Miller comes straight up. They lock wheels. James Watson narrowly avoids that one as well. He has to make a move down to the inside. Here it is, full speed from the chopper cam. One more for good measure from the cockpit. I mean, he is hard off throttle, Miller is, knowing that he's drifting up the racetrack. He tries to blip the throttle to try to get that thing to turn. It doesn't work. Then he backs way off of it, but it's just too late.
Array in the chat, yes. Carl Lemkool, Theodore Burns, James Watson, Frank Nguyen, all double-digit movers, as is Nathan Laverdure. They have all been steadily on the march as this one rolls along. Laverdure in particular. I think he was the one that made that big 3-wide, bold, brazen move for the 10th position on that restart. He's gotten up to 8th after the crash.
And Watson and Nguyen both up 18 positions right now.
It started in the final 2 positions on the field.
And it sounds like Molitor up here in the front is trying to burn some fuel off.
It's a good position to be in, to have to burn the fuel rather than to have to conserve it.
He's got that gas pedal just mashed to the floor.
Lights are off on the iRacing pace car. Will be back underway this time by. But will we finish under green? At this rate, I'm not sure.
Molitor, Burns, and Lemcool, they've been up at the front in both of these last restarts, have all stayed close together, but none of them have really made a shot at a pass-forward position, probably because they were trying to make it to the end to then take that shot, but they don't have time on their side any longer. They're going to have to make it happen quickly.
As you would expect in the USFPRO 2000s, when they get to oval weeks, a lot of comers and goers in the field, but Brian Molitor is a stayer. He's been up front. He stayed up front. The pole sitter wants to finish P1 and have a few more laps to get it done. Down to the bottom. Green flag. Good jump. But is that too big of a head start as Burns about to get a big run?
And this time, Nguyen and Watson in 4th and 5th, a lot closer on this restart than 4th and 5th had been on the previous ones.
Watson has left Carousel and Barry behind as they battle away for 5th. Make that 6th. Oh, Molitor up into the wall. Here's the run from Burns. Is he close enough to take it? Not yet.
Might have a look here, a dive to the inside.
Burns has to lift. Wiggles out of both of the top two. Here's Lemcool with a run. No, stays tucked in line. Nguyen and Watson are now on the scene. Two laps to go. Back to the inside. Burns taking another step. Molitor survives this one. Burns gathering himself up for another go.
That's the move that Burns wants to make. Down into turn 1. Can he make it happen on the final lap?
White flag. Here's the run. Burns with a peak will stay tucked in line. Rolls out. Looking for one more opportunity in turns 3 and 4. Burns closes the gap. Molitor closes the door on the bottom. Brian Molitor is going to survive here at Phoenix to take the win. Burns into the inside wall down the front stretch, but he crosses in second. Carl Lemcool's going to round out your podium. What a drive here tonight from Brian Molitor.
What a drive indeed. Fought for it all night long right there at the front of the field.
Oh, and we're wrecking on pit road. The pole sitter starts P1, finishes P1, Brian Molitor. Let's go ahead and do your full finishing rundown here on NRN. The USFPRO 2000 here at Legacy Phoenix. Molitor with the win. Theodore Burns in second. Carl Lemcool in third. I have no idea if any of these folks are in this Discord server or not. Hopefully we'll talk to at least one of them, if not all three of them momentarily. Frank Nguyen and James Watson both pick up the hard charger here tonight. Outstanding drives for them. They take fourth and fifth. Sam Carosala in sixth. Andrew Berry in seventh. Rod Eskew in eighth. Nathan Labrador, another big run through the field for him. He finishes P9. Nieja Camargo in 10th. Stephen Thompson in 11th. Simon Fell, Joseph Heath, Brian Labarge, and David Zippy are your 15 lead lap finishers. And I believe Michael Holler is going to finish this race 6 laps down in 16th. DNFs for Jason Miller, Alexander Wesley Hazelworth, Jason Owens, Victor Valley, Carter Lundy, Everett Paddock and Jackson Sims in the 23rd and final position. And I believe Brian Molitor just hopped up into the waiting room. So we'll go ahead and pull up your race winner first, as they do here on NRN. Brian Molitor with a, I think, as dominant of a performance as you can have at an event like this here tonight. Congrats on the win.
Thank you. Did I lead every lap, or did Everett get by me a couple times there? I'm not sure.
I don't know if you led every lap, but I think it's a statement to just say that you didn't leave the top 2 or 3 all race long. I mean, how do you hold your nerve in front of the field that looks as ravenous as this one did?
Yeah, it's tough. The level of talent in this field just gets ramped up every season, so it never gets easier, that's for sure.
Matt, what do you got here for our race winner?
Well, congrats on the great drive. Tight confines here at Phoenix. Saw a lot of folks trying to utilize that bottom. Seemed like the car was just drifting up the racetrack a little bit. Looked pretty tough to run the bottom here.
Yeah, I honestly prefer running up middle line, high line. I think I had a little more downforce than the rest of the field, so if they would go low, I was more than happy to go high and just hang it out there.
Well, congratulations on the win. Do you have anybody you want to shout out or say hello to here?
Sure, yeah. Full Tilt Motorsports, Mark Kent over there put together a great livery for me, and then their sponsors, IMB Racewear and Rock Solid Rigs. My spotter, Vince, and Ted Burns for the great setups every week, and you guys. Thanks.
Yep, absolutely, partner. Go party hard. Congrats on the win.
Roger that.
We'll pull in your second place finisher. He goes plus 15 here tonight in Route 2, a runner-up finish, Theodore Burns. Congrats on the podium. I mean, you took a couple of stabs at it there in the final few laps. Is there anything else you think you could have done there?
No, and I mean, I was trying to wait my time because I knew after driving through the whole pack, my tires couldn't quite handle it, and that just seemed to be the theme there right at the end. I didn't quite have anything for Brian. I couldn't quite make the move stick, so he was quick all race. Thought maybe I could have a big run and be able to squeeze past, but he held strong. So yeah, props to him. He drove a great race. Congrats to him on the win. It was definitely a race of survival out there, though. It was a tough one.
I was going to say, going plus 15 throughout the course of this race, you probably saw a lot. Well, I know you saw a lot, in fact, but yeah, it seemed like even the drivers that were towards the front the entire race and didn't have to do as much juking and jiving as you did were having problems trying to make moves there at the end of the race.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was just everyone's tires kept getting so worn from just the level of intensity and having to duke and dive and take the inside line so much. The fronts were just like burned off at the end. It was getting harder and harder to follow. But I knew if I tried to fight him, Brian earlier, with 10, 15 laps to go, that it probably would have been sent me even farther back, and the other guys could have taken advantage. So. I was just trying to bide my time and try and play it smart there. Obviously thinking championship, big picture at the end. So fighting Brian, so I want to get past him, but not giving up too much to him by finishing second. So happy with the result.
Matt, what do you got for the runner-up?
Well, congrats on the great drive. There were a few of you that came deep in the field, but you came from deep in the field in the very first run. Was that a product of some people trying to maybe hang back, or did you just have that much more speed than those folks in the middle of the pack?
Yeah, possibly. I think I always have good starts and just confidence in the cold tires. So I think that definitely helped, and willing to take advantage of some other guys. I think a lot of people were trying to get up on the high side because it was proven to be the preferred line. But there were a lot of times where I could dive to the inside, pick up 2-3 spots, and then be able to slot back up. So I think it was just keeping the vision up and being opportunistic with where the moves came from, and use the tires up early and then try to preserve them at the end. Didn't quite get all the way to the front, but was able to get up there into a solid position and then be able to ride there for most of the race and be pretty comfortable up there racing with those guys. So there was one bad apple that came up through there, hitting everyone on the way, but it was other than that, it was a nice clean race.
Do you have anybody you want to shout out or say hello to here?
Of course, got to thank Downforce Racing. Setup was awesome. I mean, we got 2 cars up here on the podium, so it was always a great day. Bad luck for Everett getting taken out of P2, but it shows we just had the pace to be up front. Got to thank you guys for putting on awesome broadcasts each week. Love doing that, and everyone for coming out and driving the series. It's a lot of fun.
Congrats on the podium.
Thanks.
And now we will bring up your third place finisher, Carl Imcool, who is going to finish P3 for Dale here tonight. How fitting. Congrats on the podium.
Absolutely. Doing it for Dale every time, especially.
Oh, absolutely love it. Well, Dale will be proud here tonight. You had to bust your way up through the field, plus 12 positions, and we're there in it at the end. Were you looking for an opportunity to get past Theodore and maybe go for Brian there, or were you kind of hoping that they would take each other out there at the end?
Yeah, I mean, team roles definitely play a big part in that. Getting close to the end of the season with Ted in pursuit of another championship, so definitely have that in mind. But that was certainly a possibility. Brian and Ted are both known for being aggressive and making some contact there. But yeah, a lot of that earlier running in the mid pack didn't leave me with a ton of tire left. But
Matt, what do you got for a P3 finisher?
Yeah, congrats on a great run, Carl. You mentioned kind of being in the middle of the pack. We saw quite a bit of rubbing tires together there in the middle of the pack. It was pretty crazy. How did you see it from your point of view?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's definitely accurate. It's this is definitely a bit of a community, but as it grows and attracts more people because of how great the racing is, it certainly means that new faces will come in, and a lot of times those faces are really good, and we'll leave it at that. Sometimes they're not.
Well, sometimes the less said, the better, partner. Shout outs for you here tonight.
Yeah. Big shout out to Downforce Racing. Good time on our setup here. Always feels really good, and big shout out to Downforce. Good work, guys. Double podium. Love it.
There you go. Double podiums here tonight. Congrats on the P3, partner.
Thanks, guys.
Alrighty, that's a wrap on our first outing here on the National Racing Network. Again, thanks to Chris for reaching out. Hopefully, Chris and Bizzle and the boys all get a kick out of watching this one. Because whether or not we were good, you could at least put this on mute and watch this race over and over and over again. It provided and then some. Everything that we expected and more here tonight.
Yeah, most certainly. This is one of those races that, they asked us to fill in for a broadcast, but they could have just thrown this up with no graphics, nothing else to watch, and we would have had a good time watching it regardless. But, shout out to everybody here at NRN for thinking of us and having us on here tonight. Appreciate the opportunity to fill in for you. And all the drivers, it was a great race from the drivers here tonight. And everybody else that was watching at home, thank you to Array and V2 for chatting with us as well. And the regular crew will be back next week.
Yes, they will, in full force, I'm sure. They'll be mad that they missed this one. But yes, thank you to everybody for hanging out with us. Be sure, I don't think there's anything between now and next Monday's Silver Crown Cup here on NRN. Silver Crown Cup, Sprint Car Cup, and Sprint Car Cup, that's right. And then the USFPRO Indy 2000 will roll into Legacy Silverstone next week. So that will be the top split strength of field broadcast next week from Silverstone here on the National Racing Network. So for everybody here from NRN, thank you to all the drivers. Thank you to my partner, Mr. Matt Williamson, for filling in here on short notice. Really appreciate it. And thank you for everybody for watching. Until we meet again here, my name is Tommy Cook. We're saying so long from Phoenix International Raceway, where Brian Molitor takes the Thursday top split for the USF Indy Pro 2000.